Good morning, Sarah. It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming on the call today. Thanks for agreeing to be interviewed about your mum, Anne, who's recently moved into Castle View. You were instrumental to that process, having spoken to Anne, and I guess a lot of adult daughters face, similar issues when wondering about how best to help and support mum if the property that she's currently living in isn't suitable to her needs. So my first question to you is, when did the conversation first come about moving to a retirement community?
Um, Hello, and thank you for the opportunity of speaking with yourself about this. It started probably quite a while ago, sort of trying to lay the foundations of getting mum to think about how she was going to maintain her independence going forward. Because as old age creeps onto us, things start wearing out. So her back had been an issue, and also her knees, etc. So there was an element of losing some mobility. Quite conscious of keeping her independence, making her home and where she lived a safe environment, because she had stairs, etc., to go upstairs to the bathroom and things like that. So unfortunately, she had a fall, which basically sped everything up. So it was following the fall, it was, right, Mum, we need to do something. Your choices are, you make your house safe environment, which involves spending a lot of money and structural stuff, or we find somewhere else that is more suitable.
Evaluation obviously was key. It was a mobility decision, but also a little bit of loneliness. It's all very well putting into the current home measures, grab rails, stair lifts, and all the rest of it, but it doesn't deal with loneliness. How much of a consideration for you and your mum was the decision for a retirement village, which does have a good social setup?
It was quite key because my mum is very independent, and I don't think she realised how her independence was almost being taken away from her by staying where she was. Because, as I said previously, she was reliant on people coming to her. She didn't have the ability to go out. Bus service was non-existent now in that area, and also it meant walking to the bus stop, etc. So and with her slowly losing a bit of mobility, that was obviously a concern. And she is a very outgoing person, has always been very active in the community. So it was quite key for me to find somewhere that could stimulate that and reactivate her choices of being able to go and join something rather than relying on something coming to her. So if she wants to join the coffee mornings there, great. All she has to do is go downstairs. But she still has a front door that she can close if she doesn't want to join in, which was one of the key things I liked about a retirement village over, say, a care home, is that you have that autonomy and you can choose what you join in. It's not a right and everyone has to go here for lunch, or because you've got your own kitchens, etc. You can choose what you have, and you can go to the restaurant if you want or not. So it was the opportunity to give her more independence rather than less, and the choice of different things to get involved with, and the different clubs and different social activities. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant, and if I could move in, I would.
When you were researching, if I may ask, and you were looking for some other property for your mother to move to, obviously everyone's aware of care homes, and they do a great job, but most people don't want to live in a care home because they fear that lack of independence, and there's a bit of a stigma, about not being able to cope. Were you aware of what retirement villages offered, and where they sat sort of in between your own home and a care home, because they do sit in the middle, of course. Were you aware of what they that the general offering was?
Um, Vaguely, obviously not until I started looking more into it, but I think they're becoming more popular, and there certainly seems to be more of them as like an interim step between not being able to cope on your own at home, needing the safety of other people about, and it's great that you've got the alarm cords, etc., but not actually needing the full medical side of a care home. And as you say, there is the stigma of care homes, and some are really good and some are really bad, just as everything in this world. And
Sure.
there's also the price point to go into a full-on care home, which my mum doesn't need, and I hope she never does, with the medical side, is absolutely astronomical, which, you know, who can afford thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a month? Whereas this was within grasp. It was beautifully laid out. It was in an area that would work for my mum. And when myself and my husband came to have a look before I even mentioned it to mum, everyone was just really friendly. It was a really nice atmosphere, and it was the options of, you can come in and just have a coffee, or there's the library, which would be my favourite place. And there's just so many different things that you can get involved in, and everyone was just really welcoming. There was it didn't seem fake or forced. It just seemed really natural. So the staff there are great.
So Mum lived locally down, I think is it the Windsor Road or the Maidenhead Road?
Devil's Road.
Does she? Yeah. Does she still get out and about and visit friends and family, or do they mainly come in to see her now?
A bit of both. She has quite a lot of friends, and some of them come and pick her up and then take her out to other events, because she's never driven. So she has got a good, strong network of friends. So some come and see her, and some pick her up and take her out and go to other events and things. But I would say that she's certainly got more independent, and a bit more spark has come back, and a bit more mental stimulation. So I would say moving there has probably taken a number of years off her. So she certainly seems a lot younger now than she did before she moved.
So how has there been, what's been the change in your dynamic, your relationship with your mum? Has there been anything, or is it too early to say?
I think she has got her confidence back about going out and doing stuff. It's made my life easier, because I'm now not worrying that she's going to fall and call on her also 70-plus-year-old neighbours to pick her up off the floor, and not taking a nosedive down the stairs or whatever. So that is a massive relief, and also for her, because I think she has now got the confidence that she's fine about going to the bathroom in the night or whatever, and she doesn't have to worry about stairs, etc., or falling, or people not being able to get in, etc. So I think that has been a massive relief, and was getting a bit of a sore spot between us, because I kept pointing it out and she kept digging her heels in and saying it was all fine. So now she's there, and I think she realizes how much better quality of life she's now got.
So you were bad cop,
Totally.
up until the stage where you were then deemed to be good cop. So that's a tricky journey to go on with a parent. I mean, it's not unusual that heels will be dug and barriers thrown up. How did you overcome that? Were you just as persistent and as strong-willed as your mum is, and or was there something else?
I was probably horrible. I uh, we did have a bit of a set to, I'd say, and I did actually say to her, you're being selfish. You say you want your independence, but how do you think your neighbours feel about potentially having to walk in and find you in a heap at the bottom of the stairs? So I was quite brutal in the you're being really selfish about your own care, and I can't come and pick you up because I'm an hour and a half away down the M4, so that could take an hour and a half or 3 weeks depending on the traffic. And sure. If you have an element of responsibility to look after yourself, and if you're not going to change your house to make it safe, then you have to go somewhere else.
So if you could go back, here's a question. If you could go back and advise your earlier self about the decision to help your parent move, what is the one thing you would do differently to help or to make that happen more sooner? Put you on the spot.
What would I do? I think looking earlier and perhaps not being quite so not submissive, but she was, I mean, for years I've been saying about, think about having convert the downstairs garage into like a bathroom or another room or whatever, because it just made sense. I think I would have probably dug my heels in a bit more, but especially as her back started to cause more trouble, maybe go harder, quicker, and make the decision earlier.
Yeah. That's a tough one though, isn't it? Yeah. When you're facing almost loyally rebuttals from a very intelligent lady who's been in charge of everything and knows best. Yeah. So go harder sooner.
Yeah, the wake up call was the fall. Yeah. You have to think, well, if you hadn't been there and you'd been at Castleview, you wouldn't have had the fall. So it's a great environment. The option of having a restaurant there and slightly more, from memory, I think you can step up a level of care if you need to. So there is that option there without having to then move into a care home straight away. I think that's pretty darn good. And you have quite a wide range. So you've got the physio, you've got chair yoga if you want to do chair yoga. You've got all these different types of activities that would appeal to different people. So
Sarah, it's been great talking to you. Thanks very much for sharing your thoughts. Thanks for being so honest about that process. It's not always for the faint-hearted, but it's often in the best needs. Well, it's always in the best needs of your parent, but it can be a challenge to get there. So congratulations on having Anne happily installed here at Castleview. So thank you very much for your time once again.